Welcome to the Burgers with Eric podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Burgers with Eric podcast. My name is Stephen James, your host. To my right is the big birthday boy, the EWG, the Airbnb king of South Florida, Eric
No, bring that back. I was
That's
feeling
what's
that.
up. You like that? You like the boogie
dope.
music?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, we got Sexy Lexi, the producer of the Burgers with Eric podcast. Sexual Lectual joins us today. How are you, baby?
I'm good.
We missed you.
I've missed you guys.
I know. Welcome back.
Thanks. I'm excited.
Yeah. Big E, it's your birthday.
Yeah, big 4-3, man. Comes up quick, comes up quick.
Oh, my God.
Fast. I was thinking about this. 43. So I was thinking because 17 more years, I'll be 60, right? I was doing that math. Yeah. And then I was thinking 17 years ago, I was, 26? And I just think about how fast that went. So I'm sitting here
It's
thinking.
my age.
Yeah.
How old are you, 17?
You said, what, that was 26?
Oh.
That's how
Dude,
old I
that's
am.
wild. 17 years from now, you'll be 43.
Yeah.
And
I'll
I'll
be
be just
60.
such a big, virulent, how would you say that word?
I don't even know that word. That's
Like viral, yeah.
Vibrationsness?
Vibrational. He's a vibrant man. Hi, little dog.
I know you got some cool V word in there.
Yeah, I think it's virulent.
She's actually, you know what, dude? She might just stay here the whole show.
That's fine. Hang out.
she's like me, Uncle Steve.
I'm not gonna like you. Nope.
I'm cute. You know, like you don't like small dogs, but I'm cute. I promise.
Nope. Huge dog snob.
Yeah, we listen. You want to get right into that?
I liked your idea about motivation stuff.
Okay, you want to start with that? Let's go.
Talk about the dog.
Love
Go
it.
ahead, man. Take the lead.
Well, I think so when we started this podcast, we spitball a lot of different things, but hopefully at the end of the day, some 18-year-old woman, some 22-year-old guy, 48-year-old guy who's down and out, right? Hopefully they see this, get a little bit of inspiration. And I was thinking, maybe the three of us can kind of talk about, what inspires us, what forces the drive. And, to talk about me first, dude, like I think my drive, you know what, dude? I think observing my mother, that's all I knew, right? Was a single mom, didn't have a father. So she worked a ton. Now, don't get me wrong, she made her mistakes as a mother, but the one credit I will give her is she worked. She was terrible with her money. She was, lacked a lot of motherly qualities, but she worked 80 damn hours a week, every week for as long as I can remember, right? Now, so I think a lot of my drive or work ethic, at least, was based off of observation, right? Dude, I gotta give my mom credit here, man. Dude, she, she's sick as a dog.
Yeah.
She went to work.
Yeah.
Holidays worked. She just worked. So like that's sometimes, babe, why I'm a little psychotic, I think. She already wants to jump in.
She wants to kill
that's
you.
what I observed as a young kid. So that's a huge piece of huge piece of it.
That's the programming for sure.
And I'm not saying it was the right way. I'm just saying that's what I observed. So that's all I saw from 1 to 18.
It's not the right way if you didn't have food or clothes on your back, man. So, that's going to lead me into like my motivation now. And it changes, right? Now you guys are thinking about having kids and all that stuff. Let me tell you what, like my motivation prior to having kids, like literally up until the fucking day we had them, was to prove everybody else wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like
ego.
Fuck yeah, huge.
I think that's a common thing, though.
Yeah, but now, let me tell you something. Dude, your reason for doing everything changes, right? So, I mean, we talked about cars before. I'm a big car head. Well, my Supra was 900 wheel horsepower. We stripped the traction control out of it. We stripped the ABS out of it. It was literally a race car, man. 900 horsepower to the wheels is like, it's just fucking terrifying. And you make one wrong move, you hit the wrong bump, and you're dead, because no matter how big and strong you are, physics will always win. So I sold a lot of that stuff, right? Just because of my why, right? It's my passion, and I've replaced the car, and the new one comes today, but drastically less powerful, way more reliable, something I don't have to worry about anymore. And chances are, if I fuck up and hit something, I'm going to come home to my wife and kids alive, right? So motivation is ever evolving in my experience. What about you? What motivates you?
So
there?
this is actually like, I don't know if this is like far too ironic or what, but I was texting one of my friends and we were talking about, like, I obviously had like an understanding of what this was, but there's different types of motivational intelligence. So I'm going to name the 4 of them and then I'll say which one I think I am. And I already know which you guys are, or there can be more than one.
Are me and Steve the same?
I think one of them's the same.
Okay.
So let me just share.
This is why it's so good to have a
She's so much smarter than us.
I know,
too.
dude. You just bring an element that we wouldn't bring.
This is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Most women usually do have that.
Yeah. Well. All right.
All right. But
fire
anyways, so I have to give credit to the person who sent me this. I'm not going to name names, but it's amazing that we're talking about this. So there's 4 types, motivational intelligence. Number 1 is survivor, which means you overcome hardships. Number 2 is dreamer. You visualize having a better tomorrow. 3 is achiever, strong will to compete and win. And 4 is worthiness, something to prove to others. So after reading this, I'm definitely the dreamer type. Where
Yeah.
I'm like, every day is a good day that I'm alive. I know that I'm at least doing something small that like makes me better tomorrow. And I have to say that I wasn't always like motivated like that. I used to be like really hard on myself.
Yeah.
Personally, like where I was so serious that I wasn't enjoying life, right?
Right.
Because we talk about balance. But I think the thing that motivates me is like thinking about the better tomorrow.
Yeah.
So like it's understanding that it's not something that's going to happen overnight. So I think my motivation comes from like whatever my dream might be. Now, after hearing you guys talk, I feel like for you, babe, survivor mentality. You're growing up.
Yeah, it's crazy. It hasn't left me, right?
No,
So it's
I never will.
And then both of you, I think, align with worthiness, proving to others.
Yeah.
of course.
But it's just so interesting
You
because,
see, I've got all 4 of them.
well, of course,
Like it's
Yeah,
But there's-
elements of all 4
but
for sure.
some
Yeah, for
shine
sure.
through and have shown more frequently, maybe.
Yeah.
But
well,
of
as
course.
you were reading that, I'm like, yeah. I don't like. I'll put equal weight. Now that's not to take away from your hardships, right? But what the fuck am I crying about? I grew up middle class with no real needs not being met, but overcoming maybe relationship difficulties or employment difficulties or any of that stuff. But mostly being told, well, it's not a fit for you. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's like, that's what that, so for me is, I have a lot, like all 4 of them,
Yeah, for sure.
but to varying degrees.
Yeah, no, it says on there, like it's, because I had to look this up too. It's not that you only have one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like obviously you can have all 4, 1, 2, 3. But I was just saying, like, I think for me, I'm definitely, and maybe this is a fault thing too. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just really like, it could be like too optimistic, but I put like a lot of trust in my, I put like a lot of trust just in like my day to day. I'm like, oh, I just believe. I put the energy out there. And maybe that's like the female in
Right,
me.
but no. It's brilliant that you do that. Now, I was talking to the car sales guy yesterday, and I'm like, and I was talking. We talk about this on the podcast all the time. There's no excuse for poverty anymore in the internet e-commerce day and age. There just isn't. Frankly, there's no. Taking it back to a conversation I was having at the gym today. There's no reason to have a 9-to-5 job anymore. I mean, legitimately. But what it boils back to is belief that it can happen.
Right.
Right? And that's where a lot of young guys will look back and be like, oh, no, that's bullshit. And no, it's not bullshit, dude, because there's millions of people that do this stuff. There's an Instagram. I was reading an Instagram post the other day. It kind of went to what we were talking about, you can leverage a sports car to get into a club that, you get around more like-minded people. And, this particular post was about exotics, right? And dude, without that exotic car, I wouldn't have gotten a foot in the door with some of my best friends down here. Where he misunderstood it was, if people like you because your car fucked up, bro. And it's just like, That's not the point. The point is you can get your foot in the door and then pick and choose the good people. And that's what we ended up doing. So like Ryan and Corey and the Brazilians that we referenced here and, you know, I've talked to you about, you know, those were the best ones that came out of it. And then there's a whole bunch of ancillary stuff around it as well. Like I was telling you about the shipping company today. Right? One of the first people I met down in South Florida was because I bought that car. The guy owns the Cars and Coffee Palm Beach event. This guy knows everybody and everything automotive related.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that particular purchase, I would never have done that. And they were genuine friends. Like these are people that I've known for the 7 years I've been down here. And there's no alternative, you know, reason for it other than, you know, I had stepped up, bought that, got around better people. So, you know.
Marketing.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is when, so a lot of times when people talk about motivation or drive and all that stuff, you always hear people say this, right? Everybody will always reference back to, well, when I was young, or my mom instilled this, or my dad instilled this. So it's wild how much your childhood impacts you as a 43-year-old, 52-year-old, 22-year-old. So this is my interesting take on this. Ready? So of course, if you live in a suburban neighborhood and your two parents are lawyers, of course your child has a better chance.
Right.
Than if you're in the inner city, your mom's on welfare, single mom, she's also a crackhead, and you're raised in the city schools. Of course you have a better opportunity. Yeah. But here's the conundrum. Here's the wild part. Dude, everybody in the NFL and the NBA came from a lot of those lower socioeconomic places.
Of course.
And there's not too many suburban guys in the UFC. I'll tell you that right now.
You probably 1,000%.
You see
They
what
get
I'm
their
saying?
ass whooped.
Yeah, sorry, Brighton and Pittsburgh, New York. There's no UFC fighters, right? So I'm not saying. So this to me, this is a fascinating topic because I used to be embarrassed of my background, but I do know. But now I'm proud of it because I know it's just made me more aggressive, more assertive, and stronger than most.
100%.
So in a way, my background was a blessing.
100%. So you've embraced it at this point.
Exactly.
Which again, like looking back at it for my reasons why prior, I mean, I think I've proven myself over and over again for the last 15 years. So now it's like, okay, like now I actually have gratitude for some of the bullshit that I had to go through, right? Just like you. So you're like now once you're on the other side, you can look back and be like, hey, that's thank God for that. Which is amazing. If I could just reach half of these people that just doubt and hate and like it's fucking not real. I'm like, dude, it's very real. What's not real is the thoughts and the lies that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
And it's different, but it's difficult from our position to tell somebody that's struggling, like, hey, dude, get your shit out of your ass, right? But it takes. Here's what happened for me, right? So we were working for that motivational sales company, and I was having a tough time at the job itself, like really grasping the concept of it. But it was because I had some personal shit going on in a relationship. And the two owners of the company sat me down next to their Porsche Turbo in this guy's garage, and they just broke it down for me. Like, listen, your mind controls your body 100%. Like a lot of people get sick because their negative thoughts are constantly running through your head. That couple, and then they handed me the DVD, The Secret, right? So if anybody hasn't watched that, it's effectively what you put into the universe, you're gonna reap. You're gonna get that back. That moment kind of changed my life and reprogrammed my thought processes. And as soon as I did that, my life just took off because it was, okay, recognize where the negative is and then try to identify the positive in it. Dude, I can find the fucking positive in a train wreck at this point. So that's why for me, there's no problems.
Yeah.
What's the problem? What's the problem? Your car didn't start today? Oh no, fucking let's fix it.
Yeah, no. I mean, so that's interesting. So obviously I'm 17 years younger than you. I forget how old you are.
43.
So the same, 17. Now I think I have people that don't know me, like outside of this video podcast, whatever, like I have definitely had, for talking about upbringings, I'm not saying I had the worst upbringing either, but I had a very interesting one where like my parents were set up really financially well. So to the point where like I was college was supposed to be fully paid for. But then shit happened. My dad was in a family business, did a whole 180. And now obviously that's motivation. But I had a thought to that. Oh, so because of that, I have this like old school personality, which both of you guys know, but talking about finding the positive in things, sometimes I just have friends and they're within my age group and they complain about things and I want to be nice and like hear them out, but I'm just like, oh my God, like you need to experience some adversity so that you have perspective and you realize like, this is nothing. Like this is actually nothing. Like at the end of the day, I sometimes find myself, I'm like, holy shit, like I actually can like see that. And I'm like, I think I need to like back off a little bit because I have already gotten past that part of my life. No offense to those people, but I don't want to be dragged down by negativity that I've already realized like, oh, I got to get over that.
Oh, and this is, we talked about this on, I think the last one. Like if you're not suffering, suffer.
Everybody needs adversity
at
some point.
You need to fight.
Yeah.
Because anything that comes easy isn't worth it. And that's one of the things that you learn, right? So even with this new sweepstakes stuff, and it's dragging on because we're looking at new solutions and having to invent them, right? So this is it's an adverse thing, but here's what happens when you fail, right? And again, people think I'm fucking nuts. I crave failure. Like I want to test this thing and fucking break it. I want it to break. I want it to be a smoldering wreck. It's not going to be because we've measured twice and cut once many times. But the thing is, when you find something broken and you fail at it, you're not failing. You're just finding the way that didn't work. Like, do you see the difference in the way that is proposed? Like, oh, it doesn't work. Negative. No, we just found a way that it didn't work. You understand the difference there?
Absolutely.
Right. We found a way. That's a positive. That's a positive thing. So again, for people that maybe are too comfortable, get outside of your comfort zone. Do something fucking weird.
I don't even think it's just that. Like, not to get on. I mean, I don't even know. I feel like if my dad were to listen to this, he probably wouldn't love that I'm sharing this because God bless his soul. But every man has an ego.
Of course we do. Yep.
And during this part of my upbringing, when like things switched, like when my family was doing really well. No, I think a lot of people can probably relate to this. Hence why I'm sharing the story. We're being real on the podcast. My dad had to do what he had to fucking do. So he Ubered. He started doing Ubering.
Right.
And so if he listens, love you, Dad. You're an awesome dad. But people made fun of me for my dad driving Uber. There was a group chat when I was in high school, and it was like, Mark Tamby's an Uber driver. And I saw it, and I was like, we can swear, obviously. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, you guys are supposed to be my friends. You liked me when my parents had money.
Wow.
You liked me when my parents had money.
So,
now you're making fun of my dad? Like, it's like.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So we went to the same high school. We all, obviously not the same
guys
time.
did, yeah.
So Brighton, and this is some of my, I think that school is very overrated. And let me tell you why. Because the teachers that I had in the city and the teachers that I had in Greece, New York, they were just as good as the teachers in Brighton.
No, I'm sure they were.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree.
I think it's so overrated. I think it's so overblown. I would actually even argue that it's a warped bubble culture, right? And let me ask you this. Do you think, you know what the difference is? You ready for this? You know what the difference is between a town like Brighton and a town like Greece, New York? So for those of you who don't know, Brighton is super affluent, wealthy, right? Well-to-dos. Greece is working class. You know what the people in Greece would have texted? They wouldn't have said that.
They wouldn't have said shit.
They would have been like, that's a man doing what he's got to do. So I kind of have some ambivalence towards
No, I do
a lot
too.
of that culture.
It's not that I have
Like the
spite,
well-to-do
but it's
culture.
motivation just going under that. And
Agreed.
just, as we were having this conversation, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like that makes that moment right there probably changed my trajectory. Like I ended up getting like all of my college paid for because I was like, fuck this. I'm going to work really hard. And little situations like that, sure, they hurt in the moment. But I guess the moral of the story here is grind through it. It'll make you better.
Yep.
You'll be a better person for it. And you won't look at small shit and think it's a big deal.
And again, but so there's something in you that allowed you to be like, all right, motherfuckers, I'll show you, right? Where a lot of people will have that traumatic experience with friends. Dude, I remember one time I had the same sort of shit, right? Like it was like 8th grade, right? My good friend Matt, and like, and then some like other girl, right? And they like did this weird 3-way phone call thing where the one was right. It was just like this huge fucking betrayal for a kid that I spent all this time with constantly for years. Like went ahead and did that, right? But that you can point to all those moments in your life. Most people can do that and say, okay, this is what that taught me. The people that get stuck in oh my God, I can't believe that happened to me. The victim mentality. Those are the people that, and again, I don't know, I'm not a fucking doctor, but I think those are the ones that tend to dwell in these, like pros antidepressants and all the, you have to go to psychology to figure it out. No, man, it's just, there's no belief that there's better shit. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like they go through one traumatic experience and their world is over, but really what it does is it opens a whole other door.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm sitting here thinking about ego, and I'm here because you mentioned ego, you mentioned ego, and it's wild because ego can be a man. I'm definitely talking through a man's lens right here, and I guess only because I'm speaking as a man. But ego can be such a good thing because clearly ego can be something that drives you and gets you out of the mud and gets you to a certain place. But man, there is a time where if you're in a good place, there's a time where ego can really hurt you too, right? Mm-hmm. So ego is like this wild balance of driver, but then can destroy you too. And I have to be careful of that. Trust me.
You're pretty balanced, honestly.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I think it's a fine line.
Yeah.
Right. And so I just looked up the Merriam-Webster definition of ego. Yep. Right. A, egotism sense. 2, B, self-esteem sense.
Yeah.
So where is the line between self-esteem and knowing your worth and being an obnoxious prick?
Okay. Valid.
Right?
Yeah, and there's I know all of us know a ton of people that are like that.
Well, one in particular. but here's the thing. Like, look, a lot of times, like, I don't drive. My ego isn't satisfied from money any longer, right? Mm-hmm. So again, if you listen to, I think it was like episode 3, I had a huge chip on my shoulder because at the end of the day, I was a dreamer, like we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. But I never punched a ticket. I never had a fucking win. You understand what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm a 9-to-5 guy selling payroll for ADP payroll, and I have these aspirations of a higher lifestyle, right? And I'm making constant and never-ending improvement to achieve that. The people around me didn't believe it. You understand what I'm saying? They don't believe in it. But that's not a reflection of me. This is what I'm realizing now. Exactly. It's not a reflection of me. It's a reflection of them because they don't believe it. You understand what I'm saying? They don't believe it's possible. How can you make money on the internet? That's a scam. Get a fucking job. That's what I was told. Right? But that has nothing to do with me. That had everything to do with that person.
It's always reflecting on the other person.
But so here's the thing. How do you learn to address that? Right, and take that head on. You have to be aware that is exactly what the fuck is going on. Meaning, if somebody, look, I heard a quote. If somebody that's criticizing you is always doing less.
For sure.
And that one's powerful, dude.
Yeah.
If you're being criticized, they're doing less.
I've never heard that, but I definitely agree.
Right.
So do you think, hearing you talk, right, I wonder if, and this is deep psychology here.
You're the psychology guy. You know all this shit.
My brain just, when I was younger, you're going to die. I remember me and all my buddies, Benny, Matt, Richie, Andy, our buddy Gons, our buddy Stan, right? So I remember we're all messed up. It's probably like 4 a.m. We're all fucked up. And I look at each other, and I look at everybody, and I go, every single one of us have dad issues.
Yeah.
All 8. Wow, right? Isn't that wild that we all kind of clung together? Mm-hmm. So here's my reason for saying that, right? So obviously your upbringing has this huge impact on who you are. And what I'm trying to lead the point to is, do you think you had more belief in the product or the system, or do you think it was really a deep-rooted belief in yourself to be able to do it?
For me, it was a deep-rooted belief in myself.
So that's a whole different topic then, right?
Yeah.
See what? Yeah, for sure. Because they're saying, "Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it." Well, maybe they don't believe in themselves that
Right.
they can handle the adversity. That they can.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh,
It's-
okay,
it's-
okay.
That's fucking on
Yeah,
them.
it's confidence,
Or it's just
ego. Right?
Well, I think jealousy also plays a huge part into this. We talk
Well,
about
for
jealousy
girls-
all the time. Do
for
you know how
girls,
hard it
50
is to
times
be a
more.
girl?
Oh,
I
it's gotta
have
be
5
insane.
friends.
Yeah.
I have 5 fucking friends.
Yeah.
And like it's so funny, not to go off on a serious tangent, but like
Go off.
Do it.
I posted a video like promoting our Airbnb business, real estate business, the one that we got professionally done by Claudio. And I posted it on Instagram, and you can see like a section now where like how many people send it and share it. And I'm private on Instagram.
Yeah.
Sorry, she thinks I'm getting angry. I'm not. I'm private on Instagram. My video got sent around more times than it did liked. You know what that fucking tells me?
Hater.
These fucking bitches.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Look at this bitch.
Hating fits my alg, so it fits the algorithm. But I
but
actually
like
love
They're
it.
just promoting you.
Yeah, promoting.
Right.
But like the thing is, you know how we talk about like, and my dad's like this too. We have to have him on here, and I get this
Yeah.
from him. I give a fuck about some things, but I don't give a fuck. Like talk about me. I
It's-
clearly don't care what people say about me. I've always dated older guys.
Because now
I've always
just-
kind of gone against the norm a little bit. I love it.
Just think about this. Think about this, right? So this is how I would reconcile it if I'm you, but this is through a meathead male's brain.
Let's hear it.
Right? It's not the complicated series of whatever the fuck goes on in there. But no, man, like let them hate. Like you're stuck in a fucking dead end town that's 45
It's not
degrees.
even. It's college people too. I just know it.
In June with nothing to do besides smoke weed and fuck your fat. Ugh, gross.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
No, they're
like-
probably
like-
all in the New York State at
Oh
least.
yeah.
To be fair, right?
No,
They're
but
all-
like I don't know. It's just girls are fucking nasty, and that's something that like if we have a daughter,
Yeah.
I really want to instill. I think my parents helped this with me, and we were talking about things that my dad did for me that helped me become. This is one of the topics.
Yeah,
I'm so glad we're bringing this up.
Tell me, because I have both.
Okay, so first of all, I'm the oldest, and then it goes my sister. She's 2 years younger than me, and then my brother. He's 6 years younger than me, 4 years younger than Paige. And one of the things that my dad instilled to me and Paige at a very young age is that men only want one thing, and that's to get in your fucking pants.
Yep.
And I believe my dad. My dad and I have a very good relationship. Like we can be open and honest. Like I didn't take offense to that. So all the time he would be like, men will do and say anything to get in your pants.
Yep.
And I never like disagreed with him. I was just like, okay, took it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, you told me he told you not to. You told me you told me that he told you. Listen, they will lie to your face. They will lie all
They're
night
not actually
long.
nice.
Yeah.
Like they just want to fuck you.
Yeah.
Which is listen.
Now, what
I'm-
age was this, by the way? How old?
It
Because
probably
this is
started
huge.
when I was going through puberty naturally.
Okay.
But like, you know, my dad's pretty smart. He's like very like psychological too. Like Eric and him are quite similar. So he's pretty smart. So he probably picked up on like, oh, I was texting more guys or IMing, you know what I mean? Like
I am.
Yeah.
instant messaging, whatever. Like my dad was picking up on that. So like I have to give it to him because you guys both know I really don't have many sexual partners. Now there's nothing against women that do, but for me personally, it's not my thing. Like
Well, let me help you out here as a man. Okay?
Jump in.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
ladies, let me help you out with
Because
this.
we got a good perspective here.
Yeah,
do.
but part of my attraction to you is your classiness, is how hard it has been for men
bitch,
to
I'm
get
in the single digits.
Yeah, that's crazy. And for a smoke show, that's crazy. Whereas today,
Wow, that's amazing.
I don't want a woman who's had 58 partners. I
Nobody
don't.
does.
You know,
Because here's why, right?
Ego.
No, it has nothing to do with ego. It's about you found a mate that has that high value status because you're good enough to get in her pants. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you got a girl that's got
Interesting.
a body count in the hundreds, that means she gave herself to 100 men. And you're fucking special? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's almost like you're settling for a discarded sandwich.
Yeah. Now people will say, well, that's such a double. The new thing that people are saying,
Yeah.
the new thing. It's so funny. Things have changed. I'm
Yeah.
very traditional and I will own up to it. Like
Right.
my parents are old school Italian. Like I will totally own up to that. I don't care if it's traditional, but like I held myself to that standard. And in fact, I pride myself in it.
And you should.
Because I think not for nothing, not many people can say that anymore.
Well, you're also gonna make a better wife Because and again, you're right. It's the new thing. So like Fresh and Fit and Andrew Tate and all these guys talk about exactly this subject. And one of the things that hit home with me was you will have a more difficult time pair bonding with your significant other / husband if you had 100 buddies. And the reason is you're comparing to, every other guy that you were with. Now, here's the difference. Men can have sex with a chick and never think about her ass again.
Right.
You guys have to have some sort of emotional attachment. Now, I think that part is changing in the female culture, whereas you guys are now, some of you are now acting like men, whereas just like throwing that P word everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? But what it's doing is it's doing more harm because so here's the other thing, right? Why would a high value guy, somebody that maybe is in our shoes, self-made dudes, want somebody that can be attained by anybody that looks at her nice and gives her a compliment? Why would we do that?
Yeah.
Right? So like my wife is very similar to you, very low body count. I don't even know the number because it's not anything I asked, but like you could I was the first boyfriend that I ever met her family.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? She didn't have the traditional college role like maybe you did, which is ultimately shocking that you're single digits, even going through a fucking 4-year school. Like that's wild to me. But that's what makes a better pair bond because it's oxytocin receptors, right? They get all fucked up, and that's the problem with guys in porn, right? We watch porn, it crushes your oxytocin levels and your dopamine receptors and all that shit.
Yeah.
And like, dude, it's hard to not watch it, but our mutual friend abstained from anything for 30 days. And I said, bro, what? Like, I can't.
Yeah, not even his own hand, we're saying.
Nothing.
I know.
Not porn, not his wife, no hand.
No.
Nothing. No emissions,
I got
girl.
what you were saying, but
yeah,
really.
Yeah, he was an EV, if you know what I mean.
EV?
No emissions.
Oh, shit. So I don't want to lose sight of this, but
Yeah.
I think our female audience has gained like a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to share some things that I think would be important, especially for you, Steve, with a daughter and a son.
Yeah.
I think that my parents' honesty with me and treating me like, of course, like I have to go through the ropes growing up, but like, and I'm sure you guys can relate to a sense of this too, but my dad was always honest with me. Like he didn't sugarcoat that guys would do that. And
Right.
it didn't hurt my feelings. He approached it in a way that I was like, that makes sense.
So
right?
what he did was he crushed the Disney fantasy.
Oh, I wish he was here. Like him and I have like the coolest relationship ever. Like we're just like two people. Now he'd probably get all sappy and like now he's in that part of his dad life.
He'd be crying already.
Yeah, he's in that part of his dad life where like, I'm gonna be just so
my little baby's gone.
Yeah, but like the honesty is important. And then like, you want to know I didn't even realize this, but Eric and I last Friday were out and we were having a few drinks, and he was like, "What are some things that your dad like made you to be like this?" And I like really thought about it because I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, always look people dead in the eye when you talk to them. He's like, you need to do that. You need to show that you're listening. You hear them.
Right.
You're going to respond to them. And I was like, because he was asking me, I'm like, I guess I'm thinking through now. All these little examples and things that my dad instilled in me are slowly like reappearing in my life. I'm hearing it again.
Well, you're at that age now.
It's weird.
So like 25, you're like, oh shit. It's almost like, you're out of college, you've been working for 2-3 years in a normal job, right? And then you have to sit back and be like, holy fuck, this is life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, how did we get here? And if you're smart enough and capable enough to take that inventory of your history and everything else, like you'll have an easier path forward because it's about self-awareness and the why. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I've been hearing the whole time, because I've been really listening to you too. Like, and my psychological mind goes deep.
Yeah, he's the guy with a degree in psychology.
I have a minor, by the way.
Okay. So I'm thinking about when I have a daughter, right? I'm thinking about your daughter. Think about this beautiful young woman, and of course she loves her mom, but she has only talked about how her father raised her so far.
Yeah, that's wild.
Okay, but
As a woman.
I could go on. Okay,
No, I
but
know. I'm just
know that I have equal value, like both.
No,
of them.
I know. I'm
very
saying,
blessed in that regard.
Yeah.
But
I'm just pointing it out.
I think it's important as a female to have those attributes from the dad.
Yep.
I mean, that is if like they want to get married and have kids and have that life. I think that's why it's a different perspective. Because it's like, my dad's been through that.
The father can have tremendous positive influence on his daughters self-worth.
Absolutely. So no, again, and I've been hanging on to this for a minute because you talked about your upbringing and how that shaped you and everything like that, dude. I'm telling you, when you have these little fuckers running around your house, I look at them fucking dead in the eye, and I'm just like, I just don't want to fuck this thing up, man. And you know what I mean? And it's like, oh my God, what is something I'm gonna do unknowingly that my son or my daughter is going to hold on to, and then at 26 years old have to go see fucking therapy for, you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, I'm like extra cautious to not fuck with them and just remain positive. Like right now it's potty training, right? That's the big hurdle that we're trying to accomplish. And, sometimes they'll have accidents, and it's just like, come here, buddy. Listen, you're not going to be able to go to school unless you figure that out. Like, instead of, I think I got yelled at. Right. You know what I mean? Saying. Like, I got yelled at as a kid. So for me, it's like, and I still remember it. So now it's like, okay, you guys had an accident. It's okay. But here's the thing. If you don't, you're not, you want to go to school, right? Yeah. Like, so it's almost like getting down to their level and not like talking to them from up here, which it sounds like your dad was like, yes, an authority, but you respected that authority because he was straight and honest with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And now I think people take and pick from their parental experiences.
Sure.
Like
whatever you can blame.
Yeah. But you can't be is there such thing as a perfect parent?
No.
But like at the end of the day, all that you could probably wish for, like again, just going back to this, and I'm sure this will happen to you. Like I said to Eric, I was like, you know what? I feel we've never actually said to my dad, like, you did it. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to crush him. I know he won't see this come, when we're going to Lake George for July 4th,
yeah.
Man, I'm going to sit him down next to the bonfire, have a couple bourbons with him, and I'm going to crush him with how good he's raised his children.
Oh, dude,
and tell him all the
he
compliments.
introduced me to Mark on text.
You got to meet him in person.
Dude, you know what the first fucking thing I said was? Bro, well, yeah. Okay, probably the second thing.
Go ahead.
Because the first thing we can't say.
Political stuff.
As if we haven't touched on that, but go ahead.
No, but the second thing I said was, dude, I literally listed out. I said, A, fuck Joe Biden. B, dude, I hope I raised my kids as well as you raised your daughter, because, dude, you did a fucking phenomenal job. And, dude, I sing your praises all the time and I tell him every fucking time I hang out with him, you're a unicorn, sister.
Thank you.
Like legitimately a fucking unicorn.
Very highest form of compliment.
You know what's cool about your family too is like I would argue you're the definition of class, right? Mm-hmm. Right? But you can hang out and let loose and party. It's like this perfect balance of class and
well, you know what's interesting about that, dude? Because it's like it went backwards, right? So like most people go from poor to rich. You guys went from rich to poor back to, wealthy, better, well off again. Mm-hmm. So you've experienced both.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's like you don't take yourself so fucking seriously because listen, here's the other thing. Right? Most people don't understand. Okay. I am one poor financial decision away from being fucking broke.
Isn't everyone?
Yeah. We all are.
No, everyone is. It doesn't matter if you have 3 million, 10 million, 50 million, 100,000. You are one poor fucking choice away from being
easily.
broke.
Yeah.
Easily. Yep.
So crazy. Don't take yourself so motherfucking seriously? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
And
or just a little bet, or just a little misfortune too. Not even in your control.
You can get hit by a car tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's so going off of that, my grandfather, my mom's dad, and I think this is also part of what shaped me. He died tragically in a car accident. So I think once that happened, I just life totally reshaped itself for me. I was like, I need to always be loving. I need to easily forgive. And I do. You can ask Eric, I'm mad for maybe 2 minutes when I get mad, and that's if I get mad. I really don't like to hold on to that stuff.
She doesn't have bad days.
Listen, other than the low energy between you two when I walked in, and I understand why.
He ain't stupid.
No, you guys are always
turned it up though.
No, you guys are always A+ positive about everything. I'd never heard you complain about anything, ever. You either. You don't say shit about shit.
No, I know because I don't. It's just that's a conscious choice though.
Right. But also think about the benefits of not complaining.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a conscious choice.
Yeah, I understand talking to your buddies about issues and shit, which is cool, but it's, dude, I got friends that are exhausting. Oh. Right? It's like, ugh.
I've had to raise, and I'm not going to say their names. They know who they are. I've had to raise a few of my friends.
Yeah, it's literally fucking insane.
But they're all in good places now. I don't want to take credit for them, but
Nah, but dude, there comes a point where you're like, I am not gonna fucking listen to you complaining anymore. Like I can't.
Yeah, no.
I can't do it.
You know, being around negative people.
I don't mind I don't mind bitching, but the woe is me part of it. Oh God,
Dude, look.
like come on,
Yeah,
I love your brother to death the other day, but come on,
he got a speeding ticket.
He was
all
depressed because
hard
he
on
got a
himself.
speeding ticket.
It was his first one though.
So
I'm like Marcus,
Give him
come
a
on.
break.
In New York?
Maybe.
I'm
Either Massachusetts or New York,
Oh,
both terrible states.
yeah, it's
to
terrible. The
deal
worst.
with.
You know what happens if you get a ticket in Florida?
What?
You call the ticket wizard and you get like a $50 fine, and that's it. No points.
I've gotten a lot of warnings down here.
Well, of course you have. Of course you
That's
have.
about it.
No, it's incredible. I got one speeding ticket down here, and it was like 30 over or whatever, and the cop was actually kind of cool. But anyway, I call the ticket clinic. The ticket wizard is now advertising all over the radio, so that's why I said that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, all right, how the fuck does this work? Right? Because in Rochester. Dude, those state troopers got shit else to do besides pull your ass over. And it's 55. Bro, when you go home, side note, when you go home and you drive on like 104 or 590 or whatever, do you feel like you're just crawling?
I miss those roads. I'm not even lying.
Do you?
I get such anxiety driving here. I hate driving here.
You would have shit yourself on my trip to Fort Myers yesterday. I averaged 100 miles an hour. I got to Fort Myers from my fucking door in 2 hours. The GPS said 238.
Yeah, for the people not listening, this is not. There's a lot of people that give folklore to certain stories. No, this is not folklore. This is real. Florida driving is fucking NASCAR driving.
It's the opposite.
Insane.
I see a fatal crash every day.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be so, dude. You can be driving perfect. It's not you. You just have to. People don't give a shit. They don't turn on their blinkers. Everybody's got, X5s and fucking Mercedes just flying everywhere.
I got T-boned by an X7. No, here you have to drive offensively. Where up there you have to be defensive.
Yeah.
Right? And the cops here don't give a fuck. Dude, you realize there's only 7 state troopers for all of Palm Beach County?
No way. Wow.
7.
That's wild.
7. And they're always on the turnpike. So that's why 95 is fucking crazy, dude.
Can we jump into, I know we touched on this, but can we merge into the conversation about just like New York versus Florida
let's go.
and the traveling?
Yeah, this is a perfect segue.
Yeah.
So I
Perfect,
was
yeah.
actually just in New York City.
Sorry.
I just
No,
love
you're good. I was just.
No, sorry, she was in New York.
So, I was just in New York City. What was that, Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah.
And first of all, everyone up in New York now, I know I'm talking from a Florida perspective now, so I apologize if it's offensive, but I've just lived a totally different life now. But everybody's like, oh my God, it's getting to be so warm. It's summer now. That's the first thing. Mm-hmm. So I get up there, and coming from Florida is totally visiting New York City, coming from Rochester, New York, right? Mm-hmm. So I get up there and it's like a measly 72 degrees. Yeah. I didn't even pack shorts or a short sleeve. You can like ask Eric, when I was packing, I was like, oh my God, these people are crazy. I packed jackets.
Oh yeah.
I was freezing. So that was one of the things. But again, if I was visiting New York City from Rochester, I would be like, oh my God, it's so amazing to be here. It's so amazing to be here. And I used to want to live in New York City. But one of the things that I quickly figured out was my appreciation for living down here in Florida. And I have a lot of friends that still live in New York, and that's amazing. They love it. I'm happy for them. But this was my first time going to New York City post-COVID. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was just that mixed with me being in Florida the last 3 years, but it felt so different. I was itching to come home. You can ask Eric every single day. I miss you.
So go into that. What felt different about New York City?
Well, first of all, they have these like outdoor, like fake looking boxes that restaurants attached across the street that were outdoor dining that like was supposed to be like,
they're on the sidewalk.
Yeah. And I guess the New Yorkers now hate it because it takes up space, but like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, what even is this thing? What's the difference? And it just got
So it's like an eyesore.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself
They
again.
put them together with fucking 2x4s and plywood.
I wish I was that company that was building them though.
Oh,
Think about that back then.
No, why don't they just get rid of them?
So that's the thing. I think there's still, the amount of mask wearing I saw was totally different. I did see a bunch of mask wearers, which is fine. Everyone can do their own thing. But it was just, this is what I mean by the observations of what I saw that was totally different. so much more mask wearing, these weird little outdoor like restaurant things, but they don't even make sense to me. I think everybody has established that it doesn't matter if that little thing is outside, you are still in close proximity. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. So that really like was interesting. And also I just like really don't understand how people live on top of each other like that.
Nope.
And I think it's just so anxiety inducing. I was like, okay, like everyone's like, oh, but we've got Central Park. Well, guess what? We went to Central Park and Central Park was packed.
Yeah.
Around people that were wearing fucking rainbow tutus and rainbow everything, which is fine.
Yep.
But I just was like, our friend Noah, like he's just like, he doesn't even like that shit. And he's just like openly, he's like, I don't like that fruity shit. Like he's always like,
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's
just so different.
Like, okay, so gay people make up 7% of the population in this country. Okay, no problem, dude. And like, nobody has a problem with it until you force us to do something that we don't necessarily agree with.
Right.
And again, like, I don't give a fuck. If you want to marry a guy, go ahead. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I'm red as they come. I'm as red as your dress, sister. But socially, I don't give a fuck, right? But it's evident. New York City has lost 500,000 people since COVID.
Didn't feel like it.
And that article came out May 19th.
This year? Yeah.
And you know what? And those 500,000, guess what?
They're in South Florida, dude.
No. Well, here's the other thing. Who has the means to get their ass up and go where they don't want to go?
Correct.
People with a little bit of means, people that are established. So they didn't lose, Amazon workers. They lost some well-to-dos.
Yeah.
For sure.
9 of the nation's 15 fastest growing cities were below the Mason-Dixon line, 6 of which are in Texas.
So we also took the subway, right?
Yeah.
Now, when I used to travel to New York City, I would take the subway by myself. I was like, oh, I love New York. I'm visiting New York from Rochester. Like,
Yeah.
I want to live here when I'm older.
No, you don't.
Now I'm like, oh, fuck this place. I can't wait to get home.
Yeah. No, I can't stand it. If I like, there's an industry event every year in New York, and we're not even considering it. That's no fucking.
I'm done.
No fucking way. I'm good. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna spend, $1,500 on a fucking flight, and then another $1,500 on a hotel to walk. Everything smells like weed. Everything. Like we stay at the.
It was so weed potent. I haven't been there
yeah.
since it was legalized. I was like, oh my God.
That's crazy. So we stay at the Hilton Marquis, or the Marriott Marquis. That's what it is, Marriott Marquis. And this is a classy ass fucking hotel, dude. It's crazy. We were there last year or the year before, something like that. And it's just like, the lobby. Like the lobby when you walk into the front doors. It's just like, dude, I'm getting a fucking contact out. This is insane.
Can I make a statement here as a non-weed smoker, non-smoker? I've done every other stupid drug you can ever think of in my lifetime.
Oh, you never smoked weed?
No, I have.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But I don't
I don't
like it. I'm not.
care.
So I'm just trying to speak through the lens of someone who doesn't smoke weed. It smells repulsive to someone who does not smoke.
That's repugnant.
Same thing with cigarette smoke. It absolutely
They're equally
disgusts
bad.
me.
Yeah.
That's like me just farting everywhere in front of you and just saying, "Oh, just fucking deal with it. It's legal."
Listen, I gotta tell
farting's
you.
legal. So
Shut the hell up. Clearly, there's a different law in this house.
yeah, I have no remorse.
I gotta tell you, I fucking love cigarettes.
Do you? Well,
But you don't. But here's the thing: you don't smoke these fucking Marlboros, and you're stinking up yourself.
Nope.
There's nothing I hate more.
It's
even when someone goes outside and smells
horrific.
comes back in just reeking of smoke,
And you
I'm
don't.
just like,
So
ugh.
when you are a smoker, you don't realize it. Where the hell was I?
Yeah.
Oh, the Panthers game. Dude, the Panthers game, right? So we're sitting there, and we're sitting next to these ladies. And after the second intermission, they had come back. And I'm just like, oh. Like, they clearly just went outside and was ripping fucking Marbreds, dude. And they came back, and it's just like, they're 2 rows away from us. And I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, no.
What a great prank! I'm gonna go up to New York City. Take
Just
some
start
like
farting
No,
everywhere.
get some like fart packets.
they
I'm sure
do
they
have
got
the
them.
spray. It's disgusting.
And just anytime someone's smoking weed, just like launch a fucking fart ball right in front of them. Just
So the other things that I noticed, and again, like, this is probably only the last 3 or 4 years, but it's dirtier.
Oh, it was disgusting.
Like, just filthy. And it was always filthy. Like, I've never had a propensity to even set foot in New York City. Because, like, how the fuck do you live there? I can't do it. No way. I need green space. I need to be able to drive.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't do it. So They just made it worse, and it's imploding on itself. And there's nobody's fault but New Yorkers. Like it has nothing to do with anybody but New Yorkers. You guys keep voting for these stupid policies that have nothing to do with anything, with prosperity or safety or any of that shit. And this is what's going to happen. They're destroying one of the greatest cities the world has ever seen through policy. It's fucking disgraceful.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of my friends, at least, who still. So there's an interesting thing. Like I know a lot of the people that live there who were born and raised in like the Bronx, Queens. Like they have to stay because that's like, it's more expensive to move. You know, like my friend Shosh was explaining it to me because she works for the Bronx. She just did a story on it or something.
I don't buy that one.
Why would it be more expensive?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I was trying, but what I was getting at is that like I think the people that I and my age group that live there, I think it's like more of like a following thing. Like I think, like I mean, like everybody feels like, oh my God, New York City's the place to be after college. Like everybody feels like they're like missing
It's the
out.
Instagram video.
Yeah,
That's
let me
what
tell
they
you
care
something.
more about.
Let me
is
tell you
the
something.
Instagram
Let me
video.
See
tell-
what I'm saying?
let
It's
me
ridiculous.
let me tell you something.
Than actually living a good life. They just want to appear like they're living a
Yeah.
good life.
Head your fucking ass to Nashville, Tennessee.
I love Nashville.
Yeah.
Are you fucking shitting me? I would go to Nashville
It's such a fake thing.
1,000 times over going to New York City once.
Oh, me too. 100%.
It's tremendous.
The vibe is so much better.
It is one of the best towns I have ever set my feet in.
Let's say you want to be close to family. Buffalo, New York. I don't like the cold, but Buffalo's kind of a hip town now.
Yeah.
It's a different hip. It's like that
But-
douchey leftist hip.
I think I'd rather go to Toronto out of all these.
No. Canada? Are you nuts?
Okay, fine.
Right
fine.
now? Like right now?
No.
No,
But I do
listen,
like.
I like the
listen.
southern
20,
cities,
20
trust me.
years ago, Toronto was fucking
I love.
amazing.
I always love visiting, but like if we're going into like Law and Order, no.
No, dude,
But I mean, like visiting
go
wise.
do your research on. Oh yeah, you're gonna visit
Yeah.
Toronto 1,000
No,
times.
I mean like
over
Law
there.
and Order. I wouldn't want to be there.
Dude, apparently Chicago's destroyed. Like you know, my brother-in-law is like basically from Chicago, and they're like, we don't ever want to go back, and they go every year.
My buddy Phil Chow, a guy I've worked with for a long time. You know, he's a great young guy. He's probably 32 years old. He very smart financially too. You know, he asked me for a lot of advice. He bought his condo, dude. I think like 8 years ago for $350 grand. You know what it's worth today in downtown Chicago?
No.
About $350 grand.
8 years later.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, and it's like and
He's
I'm
going to struggle to sell it at that price.
yeah, and I'm like, you know, like I've
Get
been
out
trying
now.
to like let's just get whatever equity you have out of here and let's put it into something appreciating. Go fucking rent somewhere.
Yeah, but so look at this. The state of Florida gained more than 655,200 people between 2020 and 2022. Why?
Common sense New Yorkers.
Okay, but why?
Oh,
Tell us why. Like, tell me why you think that is. I'll tell you exactly why.
well, I think the three of us would agree it was post-COVID how everything was handled on like a state level.
Yeah, well, we don't no state tax. So your friends from New York City telling you it's more expensive to move. You're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, the
Like,
tax is disgusting.
Dude, listen to what Nate said, bro. The tax that fucking get 27.5%.
Brooklyn tax. I got a city tax.
Oh my god! I got a water tax. I have an emissions tax. I got a weed pot smell tax. Like fucking dude. So let's talk about that for a second, right? Like this is what we were talking about prior to the show, which was a buddy of mine up in Rochester is also on TRT, right? He kind of got on that shit about the same time we did. And he's dropped like 30 pounds, like gym performance gains and all that shit. I mean, I think he's doing it a little different than I am. I'm doing it to bulk and get bigger, and I think he was doing it just for more health. But we had a good talk yesterday, and he's like, and he brought up a great point. His point was, you know, up there, you know, oh, you're on steroids. You're on steroids.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Wait, he said this to you?
Well, this is the perception in Rochester. Right? So we're talking about, you know, the conversations he's having with people, you know, in his immediate sphere. Like, taking steroids, it's dangerous for your heart. You know what I mean? And but he brings up a good point. So the point is this. Okay, yeah, no, I'm on testosterone replacement therapy, and I'm taking care of the natural problem of testosterone loss. Meanwhile, you're over there depressed eating Cheetos by the fucking bag full, right? Sucking down your Prozac and not being active and have no will to live. So the doctors would rather prescribe you Paxil and Provid and whatever the fuck. I have no idea what they are. But an antidepressant to drug you up and change your mental state versus giving you the hormone that your body produces naturally, but is just in decline. I got to tell you, and I know
that's a great point.
And I know you feel the same way, buddy. The day I got on that shit, it was like a light switch. Everything's better. Things are brighter and sunnier, and the optimistic outlook is better, and everything is just better. Things are not so irritating. You know, and this is coming from a guy that lives with 2 toddlers, right? Like, yeah. There's no short fuse for me with these kids. I'm more patient. And, you know, the way I have more self-confidence when it comes to looking myself in the mirror in the gym and all that shit. Like, doesn't that sound better to you than going to see a psychology dude that can't fucking even explain his own self and sucking down antidepressant pills? Doesn't that make more sense?
No, I agree. And my biggest thing for getting on it was, so my psyche isn't based on how I look. I swear in my life it's not how I look. My psyche is based on how I feel. Yeah. Right. And I'm not looking in the mirror. It's how I feel. It's how I feel physically. Okay. And I had a lot of physical ailments, and when I would try to exercise, Steve, dude, like my body just wasn't responding the way it used to. Right. It wasn't responding. So whereas, let's say I went to a doctor in Rochester, like, yeah, well, if you're not feeling good about yourself, you're right. They probably would have prescribed me some nonsense, and you know, I'd much rather take this route. But here's the thing: that wouldn't have been a topic of conversation living in New York State. It wouldn't even have been a conversation. So me and her were talking about this the other day too. The different medical procedures and advice that I've gotten down here. Mm-hmm. So from stem cells to TRT to, I got a new one for you. You know how I had ear surgery? Yeah. Well, I had ear surgery about 5 or 6 years ago. My hearing has really deteriorated, and I'm just like, shit, I got to get a damn hearing aid. I go see a ear, nose, and throat doctor the other day. He's like, oh, you know, there's an additional procedure we can do to help that hearing, right? Never even knew about it. Yeah. Was never told about it up there.
That wouldn't.
Like, you know.
No, and it's crazy to me.
Either, I don't think.
Well, that's nuts to me because Strong Hospital is one of the greatest hospitals in the nation, dude. Like, that fucking blows me away.
I'd like to know how they, you know, when I hear it's
best
so
school.
Funny. Who is it? Yeah, best schools in the country. Like who is ranking these stuffs, and what are they ranking?
You've had the fewest deaths from surgery. What makes you the best hospital?
Like really, some doctor in Nashville isn't just as bright, as intelligent. I have a tough time. I've always wondered, dude, I could start a damn organization right now, right?
Yeah, no, you can. And guess what? You make it nonprofit. You pay yourself $1 million a year and claim
I'm going to make your fucking list. You are number one.
You're the number.
Congratulations.
This is the top 10 doggy daycares in the whole country.
Yeah.
It's probably just politics.
100%.
Oh, like who's paying off who, man?
Think about that U.S. Conference of Mayor fucking thing.
Oh my God.
Right? Stroke a check. You got our endorsement, baby. Let's go.
We're watching a show, Succession, right now. I don't know if have you seen it?
Oh, yeah. How far along are you?
We're almost done with the 4th season. I think that's it. Kabosh.
The what?
4th season.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, I think it was 2 years ago, and I don't know, I just started, he helped me come to this conclusion, but I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything. No, so then when I'm watching the Succession show, I'm like...
Oh, so you guys are on the episode where they're the election episode?
Well, we're past that.
Oh, you've watched the whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're past that, but I just was like to Eric, I was like, this is real.
This is real.
This is real. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like...
Yeah, but speak on it as to how the basically the largest companies in the...
Oh, so on the show, the largest companies, like the billionaires of the world, have pretty much say in endorsing and getting whoever it is to run for office, because ultimately it gets the billionaires more power, and whoever, it's all rigged. Yeah. I don't believe anything.
Yeah, dude, it's not like some guy. I don't know if I explained
it well, but I'm just saying.
Dan Henderson doesn't just go, you know what? I think I could fucking be a president.
Yeah, I know.
Dan Henderson from Seattle, Washington doesn't just put his name in the fucking ballot and have an opportunity to become president. They are pre-selected by institutions.
100%.
And by corporate America, who they want to get behind.
Why is it that the family name has gotten passed down too? That shit's weird and sketchy.
What family name?
It's like, the Kennedys, the Bushes.
Oh, because it's
Clintons.
The Clintons. It's so
I was thinking about this.
Repeat.
It's the business of politics.
Yeah.
And nobody hears the word business.
No.
Like, nobody hears that.
It's
like,
not just free. Oh, it's not free for all.
No, it's not. It's not. You have to be selected.
But that's where people.
How the fuck does an AOC come out of that small little district in New York where that motherfucker that she usurped was there for 27 years? How about Louise Slaughter from Rochester? Bro, that lady served like 38 consecutive terms. The bitch died when she was like 92. Wait a minute, hold on. Most people don't understand, right? The way that a constitutional republic is supposed to work is a representative government, meaning the people that you elect, even at a state and county level, dude, they represent your voice. Somewhere along the way, they were like, oh my God, this is like a free-for-all to print money. Because now what happens is, and we saw it with the mayor in Rochester, right? Who's the most corrupt? That fucking, what's her name? Lovely Warren.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's kind of recent.
Yeah, it's very recent. But dude, think about the corruption level there. One of the first things she did was she gave her deadbeat ass uncle the RTS like director position for like $760,000 a year. This is a fucking 80-year-old dude. Like, so it's no coincidence that the family names just keep going and going and going, because it's the family business. Whether you believe in the Hunter Biden laptop shit or not, I mean, now it's starting to unravel for them like crazy. And anybody that's not paying attention and still thinks it's Russian disinformation, you're fucking wrong. Like, it's crazy, dude. Look, how about that? Did you see that thing the other day that the Anderson Cooper got paid $12 million by Pfizer? Did you see that?
No,
I didn't see that.
But I believe it.
100%.
So we just were watching this movie on HBO, and it was about how documents got leaked from the NSA. And it was pretty much saying that the documents that this girl leaked was that Trump had the election rigged by the Russians. Now, we didn't even finish the movie because it was so slow. But so I was like, so what even happened? I'm like Googling. He ended up falling asleep. It was that boring. But anyways, I told him, I'm like, did you even read what this is about? And he was like, no, what is it about? I'm like, it's pretty much saying that this girl leaked a document that she read that that she saw that Trump leaked, or that Trump was partnering up with the Russians for the voting system, 2016 election. And I said, you know what? They put out this fucking movie just to make it seem like he did. I'm like, I don't believe anything. I go, I don't even want to finish this movie.
No, if anything,
Propaganda.
it's the opposite. Like, dude, here's the best way to look at it. The left now follows Rules for Radicals almost to the T. Mm-hmm. Rules for Radicals is a book. Look it up, read it. It'll tell you every single thing you need to know about modern day politics from the left's perspective. Effectively, the number one rule that they follow is blame your opponent for that which you are doing. All right, so understand that. Just take the Russian hoax for a second, right? Hillary Clinton's law firm bought and paid for this Russian disinformation, right? The guy couldn't even corroborate it himself. They just made it up. They're like, okay, so let's just put Donald Trump in a hotel in Moscow and have strippers peeing on him. Like a fucking sixth grader could have wrote that. And then what they did was the FBI used it and got that FISA warrant. And FISA warrants were supposed to be verifiable. The guys flat out said, no, we can't verify any of this shit. And the judge was like, yeah, no problem. So, like, do you see how far this corruption is going to go? Like, bro, judges have to go down. Senators have to go down.
So deep.
Fucking, it's crazy. How does that...
Let me ask you a question. Has it already... Clearly, it's gone far.
Oh, it's over.
Does it have any chance of reconciling?
No, absolutely not. Yes, I lied. Yes, there is one chance. And it will get us banned from Instagram, YouTube, whatever.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. That's it. The only way you get your rights back that are taken is to shoot your way out. I mean, look at Venezuela. We are one fucking step away. We're one step away. The next step is take the guns. Never fucking happen. Never happen. I will sign up. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'll go.
I think it's reconcilable just because we still have our weapons, is your point.
That's the only reason we're not China.
Wow.
I'm sorry, dude. People listening to this, you might think I'm fucking crazy. It's the only reason. It is that 100% only reason. And they're just think about it, dude. They're just inching closer and closer and closer.
Isn't
and they
that
have
funny?
been
You
doing
think
so
I'm
for
crazy?
fucking decades.
Isn't that funny? You think you're going to think I'm crazy?
What?
That's what I'm saying. You started off the thing by saying, you're going to think I'm
Yeah,
crazy.
no, it
Because
is.
you're programmed to think that people like you are crazy.
But think about this. Venezuela, when they jailed the political opposition, just like they're doing right here, the next step was take the guns. The step after that was slaughtering millions of their own fucking people. Just go look at Mao Zedong. What Mao did in China was he unsexualized the population. Effectively, he made it illegal for women to wear anything sexually suggestive. They all had to have the same haircuts and all that shit. So now you have this ambiguous population that doesn't want to fuck. Think about it. It breaks the spirit of men. We are programmed to want to pass our seed onto any willing fucking acceptor. Okay, it is what it is. It's just fucking nature. So what's going on here? What's going on here? Right? Oh, trans, this, that, the other thing. Nobody gave a fuck about trans. If you think you're a lady, fucking fine. No one cared. Until all of a sudden it's on every single consumable good. And the parents are like, no, dude, you're not going to fucking shove this down my third grader's throat. And then the left freaks out and says, oh, it's the don't say gay bill. Nowhere in the bill does it say don't say gay. All it says is let's give our children a chance to grow up and not have to worry about who's having sex with who in third fucking grade. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think I learned about sex and stuff in sixth or seventh grade.
Yeah, sixth grade.
Like, I'm trying to remember. And honestly, it made me really uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah,
like, I still wasn't ready then.
Yeah,
I was like,
fucking weird.
I was like, ugh.
Miss Desmarteau. And they took all the boys and gave them to Mr. Greenberg, which was the sixth grade other class. And then all the girls
It
went
was
with
so
Miss Desmarteau.
uncomfortable.
Fucking weird.
But I
dude.
think it was supposed to be.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think that kind of like made people, I mean, I know this is maybe where Brighton and Greece were different, but I was like, this shit is so uncomfortable. Like, I was like, I don't even want to participate. Like, I don't know. But you were more exposed to like a sexual...
No. Listen, West Side culture, where I grew up. I'll be honest, I lost my virginity at 11 years old.
That's insane.
What?
That's insane.
11 years old.
That's not even normal. That's not even
I
healthy.
didn't even have pubic hair.
No.
I hadn't
your
even
balls drop?
I didn't even
I'm
have barely. I hadn't even masturbated yet, and I was already having sex. And
This poor thing. I feel bad for this. But I
was like, and then I came over to Brighton. And I was 11, 12, 13 getting busy. And then I come over to Brighton. I'm like, you guys don't bang? What's wrong with you?
guys are all nerds.
You guys don't bang.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Listen, I'm sorry,
don't bang.
Brighton. Brighton was just like these kids were like, let me give you an
But
example.
I was one of those people.
No, I know, but just hear me out. And I'm sorry to do this to you Brighton guys.
Totally different.
I know.
But like when you grow up, like let's say you watch, what was that show we really liked on HBO?
Oh my God, Euphoria?
Euphoria. Have you watched Euphoria on HBO? Okay,
You guys
gotta
watch it. It's
because
so good.
Euphoria, is disgusting as it is, it's about really just high school environments today. Yeah, they're sending nude pics and they're experimenting with drugs and like it's like the real world. Yeah. It's like that's what like Greece, New York is. That's what these other Akron, Ohio is like the real world, right? So I'll give you an example. Like when you grow up in one of those schools or like a Webster, if you're the quarterback of the school, you are the man. The man. Okay. If you're a basketball star, you're the dude, right? Dude, I went to Brighton. I played varsity basketball in 9th grade, and I was the quarterback of the fucking football team. Hardly anybody even knew it.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's
are you
like
talking about?
I'm dead serious. It's a weird.
It's more of like a lacrosse school. It's weird.
Soccer, chess.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I came over, I'm like just this athletic, strong, tough guy, and I like to play sports I just thought they were a bunch of dorks. They're nice kids and everything, but they're just, they're
a bunch of rich nerds.
and they're fine. And I want my kid to be a rich nerd, like that.
Do you?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, so I get it. What was me? Of course I want my kid to be a rich nerd.
I always tell him, and he likes this. I'm always like, you're disgusting.
He is disgusting.
And he likes it.
I love it.
He likes being called disgusting.
Oh yeah, can we do a segue?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Do you got a name for your penis?
No. What the fuck? No, I don't. I don't have a name.
How do you not have a name?
I don't know. I beat it constantly. I mean, would you fucking name something you hate?
You shouldn't hate it.
No, I love my dick. My dick's fun. It's my BFF. It's my little buddy.
I call him the demon.
Dude, stop.
We had to wait to tell you this.
So like at night sometimes if she says something cute, I go, babe, don't wake the demon right now.
I fucking hate both of you.
And I'm like,
He's bad. He's real
He
bad.
talks about. I'm like, you're so crazy.
No, he's bad.
I'm like, you talk about your.
I don't even. He takes over things, and like he just.
Like I'm third. Like
I don't like getting into that headspace, babe. It's dangerous.
Oh my God.
I told you, like
You might get arrested.
do you see what I live with?
Yeah. Your choice.
No, it is my choice.
It's all right. It's a good choice. Dude, you might be the luckiest unicorn. You're like the Harvey of Western New York chicks.
What does that mean? Explain.
Well, now you're never going to live a bad day in your life.
No.
Yeah, Harvey was, not that you were rescued, but you were selected.
you know what
I rescued him too.
Oh,
No, for
100%.
sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
We rescued each other.
Here's my thing, and I said this to her on our first date, right? Our very first date, I said this to you, and I recognized this as I got older. Like, of course, a 22-year-old woman and an 82-year-old man, that's a weird thing, right? Because you're not going to live life together.
No.
Right? So now here's my thing. Like, so anybody who says anything about, oh, there's a big age disparity there, 17 years, like, or, oh, you're dating a 26-year-old, or somebody gets offended by it, like some woman. Dude, here's the thing. Our timelines match up perfect. Neither one of us have children.
Right.
So our timelines match up perfect. Guess what? I don't want to be with a 32-year-old with 4 children. That's just me personally. I don't.
It's your preference.
Now, if I had fell in love with one and that was the case, and like,
No, but you wouldn't even give yourself the opportunity.
you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's really about the timeline. So anybody who's in a relationship or trying to speak negatively about another one, like, dude, it's really, most relationships work, in my opinion, if your timelines add up. If you're a 26-year-old ambitious woman and you're dating a 28-year-old man who has the mindset of a 19-year-old, guess what? Your head places don't match up, and it's not going to work out.
And it's not like she's 16 and you're 32. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that's
this
creepy.
is a grown-ass fucking woman now.
Right.
You know, it's timeline. Absolutely. That's good. What else, guys? We're at like 110.
I love this conversation.
That's a good one. You want to keep it going? Just chop it up?
We'll do 10 more minutes.
All right.
You got another topic on there? Or
Well, I think it's a dating topic. Or do
go
like
ahead.
I just think that I have friends who are my age that are struggling meeting a man.
Sure.
Why?
You want my perspective, my honest perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a girl's perspective, but I'd like to hear yours.
Sure. Well, figure this out, right? This is probably one of the very few negatives about South Florida. Dude, you're basically in a liquefied sex pool. Meaning, think about this, right? Like, okay, your girlfriend that's a Rochester 10.
Oh, she's like a 4 here.
Yeah.
I don't feel pretty down here.
Oh, but because
I told Eric, well, it's not that I don't feel pretty. I was just like, I acknowledge them. Like, there's so many beautiful people here. Like, everyone's pretty.
but think about this. If you're 35 and making $1 million a year as a guy, okay, live in downtown Del Rey in one of them fat ass fucking condos with the pool on the roof and all that shit. Why the fuck would you get into a long-term relationship? Because every single hot girl from Nebraska, Ohio, Michigan, Iowa, right, that don't fit in Iowa because they want the pretty face and the makeup and all that shit, they all move here. Half of the girls in Rochester live in Fort Lauderdale. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it's like LA.
So,
LA's like that.
So think about this. If you're a young, successful guy in South Florida, why are you going to buy the cow when there are thousands of milk-producing cows flocking here every fucking day?
Oh, are you ever going to pick one cow?
No, my point is this: why would you?
Well,
I
it gets
don't know.
okay, let me give you the contrarian part as a man. Dude, it's exhausting.
Dating.
Oh, I bet. Listen, I don't know. I haven't lived in the
There's
modern.
a lot of drinking involved.
Yeah. I haven't lived in the modern dating world. My point is this: the guy that is ready isn't going to the bar to find his wife. On the contrary, he's going to the bars to find chicks that he can sleep with. That's just what the fuck
Mark
it is.
Tamby taught me.
Right. So think about this. So for your girl, if you're South Florida 4 girls, which I don't buy, by the way. They're probably more like.
It's not even Florida though.
What do you mean?
Like, it's a lot more than it's throughout the country. Like, my friends that are everywhere.
No, you said South Florida 4. Oh, your friends that are everywhere are
I
struggling.
just mean girls.
Okay, so part of that too is men have had it with the shit.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
But how many women can acknowledge that?
Very few.
Had it with what shit?
Oh, just dating, period. Because, okay, one of the things you said was it's exhausting. It is fucking exhausting. I want to roster of fucking 10 girls. No, it's a pain in the ass. And I watch my other buddies go through this all the fucking time. I'm like, dude, how do you even keep the shit straight? Like, it's fucking overwhelming, right? But Instagram, dude, you can be, think about this way. Brad Pitt is divorced, and his wife initiated the fucking divorce. What chance do we have? Do you understand what I'm saying? You could be the richest, wealthiest fucking guy in the world. All it takes is some verified blue check rapper to be like, hey, you're fucking hot. Let me fly you out to Miami and you can be on my yacht for free. And then she's glizzy glop 5,000ing, dude. So
5,000ing.
So literally it takes a female with your perspective to be long-term mate worthy.
So I think that, so I'm starting, not to cut you off, but I'm starting like a more like a not like a professional female TikTok account right now. But I think that it's important that things like that get communicated, because as a female, I think more women need to go back. I'm not saying go back in time and be like just Betty Crocker housewife, but I mean like some things with old fashioned dating are not bad. No. Like I think some of those things should be like.
Let's think. Let me ask you something. This is going to tell me a lot. So if you guys are out, right, and like you're very secure in a relationship, like you know, she does whatever the fuck she wants. Then I already know the answer to this. So if a guy comes up to you and is like, "Hey, you look fucking hot in that red thing. Let me buy you a rum and coke," are you going to be like, "All right, motherfucker, yeah," or are you going to shut that shit down and be like, "No, I'm good. Beat it, fucking nerd."
Oh, well, it's obviously the latter, but first of all, I wear a ring on this finger, even though I'm not married yet when I go out.
Do you see the difference? So guys that are dating, like let's say you're a month into a relationship with a chick, and you guys are out, and some fucking tall, dark, handsome guy like this motherfucker comes up to most of the girls, they're going to be like, okay.
Can I be honest?
What?
I don't think I'm as approachable as you think I am, because it really doesn't happen to me like that. Or I'm just fucking ugly compared to all the girls down here. No, I'm serious. Like, I swear on my life, whenever I'm not out with you.
It's also the energy you give.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's single energy versus I'm not available.
Like
energy.
nobody, I swear on my life, I really have had, I can count on my hand. There's been twice that someone has come up to me. And once was at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And it was someone that was like, it was a kid. He was like, you look really nice today. Can I take you out on a date? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm engaged. But like, I was like, but honestly, like keep doing that. Like, I was like, it's good that you like feel comfortable going up to women like that. Like I was like, keep doing that.
So if I was a single guy and I was out, just so you know, if I saw a girl like you and I wasn't, thinking about entertaining something positive, right? I would just kind of be like, you might not. That's not a fucking effort. There's a couple cock gobblers over there. I'm just gonna
Cock gobblers. Do you see what I deal with?
You see what I'm saying? Like, so I would probably listen.
You should hear it.
And you might have to go down a couple
you'd
levels,
rather
but
put in less
it's
effort.
easier.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's
She looks like she could choke on my dick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, and I know she will easily.
Well, yeah, no
maybe
doubt.
her friend too.
There's that fucking neck tattoo. You know what I'm saying? They might as well be targets.
But you can tell. Here's really what I'm getting at. I can tell as a man, like anybody else can, by the energy you give out. There's availability and non-availability, body language. It's obvious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's obvious.
I'd agree with that.
I pretty much act like I don't have a vagina when I'm out.
That's cool. That's good. No, but again,
box that up.
That's because that there ain't nobody gonna replace this guy, because it's almost impossible to find. So for your single girls, okay, I'd have to know a lot more about how they go out, how they dress, how they act, what their lexicon is. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's a lot that goes into it.
Much. Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it. Nobody wants a fucking chick that talks like a guy, first of all. Right? Like
I just
not long term.
No.
So it's going to be a very beta man.
Well, sure.
It's going to be a very
which does
beta
work
man.
for some people.
Yeah, but it never works. Because, so I was watching something the other day too, right? And this I had to watch it a couple of times. Basically, the women's nature, like, dude, women have the capacity to fall in love with a man that kills her husband and sexually abuses her.
Women?
Like think about it.
No, I really need to.
Okay, so think about it and think about it and like old Roman times.
Women fall in love with men.
They have, this is a piece you're missing, the capability of, okay, falling in love with a man that has killed her husband and sexually abuses her. Think about this, okay? And the Roman Empire is spreading, okay? You go into this little village and the women were given the choice whether or not to abandon their husbands to go fight or die with them. The women that abandoned their husbands got killed. Then they got raped. What it did was it thinned out that fucking loyalty gene, right? That pair bonding fucking gene. So now what we're left with 500 years, 2,000 years later is a pool of women that are just like, okay, whatever's more powerful and better. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I dude, I gotta send it to you, but it was from like the olden days of like nasty ass war.
I think a woman, my intuition tells me a woman wants to feel safe and protected.
100%.
Physically, financially. That's simple.
100%.
Physically and financially. I think at the core, that's what they need.
Well, there's a huge emotional component to it as well.
Yeah.
Right. So men are very different in that way. We want very similar things, right? So like we want security in the fact that if you're out by yourself and somebody approaches you, like, no, motherfucker, I'm engaged, even though you're even not. You understand what I'm saying?
Just so you know, I do say that.
Right. So that's where our security comes from. Guys like us, we create our own financial security. We don't really care how much money you make. It's about that security that you can provide for us and the support you can provide for us to generate the wealth that we all share. You understand what I mean by that?
Yeah. See, that's like an old-fashioned mindset, though. But that's
course
why I
it
think
is.
like that's why Eric and I work
Old Italian,
well.
a huge Italian family, parents still married. I mean, what the fuck? That's all I know.
Yeah.
You know?
Something must work.
And God bless if people have a different arrangement that they don't subscribe to this and their relationship's working. God bless you. Happy for you.
I want to
Yeah.
know more about your singular girls. Like, what are they running up against? Is dudes just not even putting in effort or what?
I think it's the app culture where everyone is easily disposable. So like, and it probably goes both ways too. Like if you were to go out, like match with someone on like Tinder or Hinge or whatever, and you go out on the date with the person, like sure, maybe you go on once, maybe 2, 3. If you find something so small that you like don't like about them, oh, it's fine. I'll just go back on the app. But like that's not fucking realistic.
No, it's not real.
Because like the thing is like I love you, you love me, but there's obviously things that like I probably do to annoy you, but you still love me for them, and vice versa. Like it's so unrealistic. Like where did this unrealistic expectation come from?
The apps, Instagram,
The volume. Yeah, that's interesting. The volume.
And that's why I've never
you meet
been
a
on an
girl
app.
every weekend versus meeting 100 in a night.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I've never been on an app, and I was very firm on meeting someone like in a very old-fashioned way. Now that would be my advice to any girl is meeting someone in a
Organically.
natural way. Yeah. But like everyone's easily disposable, and it probably does go both ways.
Right. So don't complain.
Right.
Right. So that's what you have to tell them. Like, listen, you need to be set up.
I don't even think it's complaining. I think it's like, hey, it looks like you're in like a good, solid relationship.
Yeah.
But like I can give my female perspective. I don't know. Like that's what I mean.
Sure. No, I'm not talking to you. I didn't mean.
No,
you
I know.
don't.
I'm saying like
talking-
I think they're like you're like they're always like you're so lucky you found a man that just wants to just be with you and go through like life with you.
But they don't have the wherewithal to ask you how. Like.
I guess not.
See?
How do you do? Well, I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
So how did you guys meet? I mean, you guys had familiarity through CGI, but.
Well, that was really it. Yeah, that was really it. And
Yeah.
she was told to get some
But
sales
but
advice.
again, so think about it. Like you're both fucking unicorns. Like, dude, what divorced guy doesn't have kids?
Oh my God, I'm
You know what
so
I mean? Like-
grateful that he did not have
How
kids.
many 40? No. How about this? How many 43-year-old men don't have a kid? Like, what's even that number? You know what I'm saying? Hasn't had a child. What number is that? That's wild to think about.
Honestly, I think if you had had a kid, it would be a little
Of course.
harder for me.
Oh yeah, I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
It would. No, sure. It would. Now, it doesn't mean it wouldn't have worked. Doesn't mean it can't work. But sure,
I think it would have depended which girlfriend the kid came from too.
Damn. Yeah, makes sense.
No, it's different. It's different. It's different the other way.
Yeah.
Right. Because what I just explained, and I have perspective on this because the girl I was engaged to had a kid.
Oh yeah.
You typically don't ever come first, but the other way around, if it's a girl dating a guy that has kids, typically the mom gets custody. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like my sister's going through it now. Like my sister's boyfriend has 3 kids, right? And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? But I see their dynamic. I see how it works, right? Like his kids are there every other weekend or whatever it is, and they get along just fine. And when the kids aren't there, you know, they go out and they have fun and they enjoy each other's company and all that stuff. So it's a lot different going the other way. Like a guy to a girl where, okay, now here's another kid. And I'll be honest with you, when we broke up, it did, like, losing her didn't really fuck with me that bad. But what I probably cried most over was the kid, because I had an attachment to that kid.
How long did you know that kid for?
3 years, 4 years?
Wow.
I don't even remember anymore, but it was like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. That was my situation. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, I was married for what, 2 years? Wrong marriage. Nothing. I'm not even going to get overly negative about it. Just wrong mistake.
Yeah.
But you know, had a stepdaughter that called me daddy for 7 years. You know? And I
That's
still care about her.
It's heartbreaking, dude.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of fucking heartbreak.
Yeah.
Right. So you know, most guys would prefer to not date a chick with a kid. It just is what it is, unless they have one themselves. You know what I'm saying? Now it's
Right. Now your
you know what I mean?
situations and timelines
Correct.
also are
Correct.
congruent again. Yeah.
So that's good, man. I don't know. Maybe I can help. I mean, you can have Mia as a guest on your shit.
I was going to say that.
I'll tell us.
You should fly him down. Bring him down.
I'll tell it straight.
I know the next friend that's down, we'll put him on.
Come on, let's go. We got 4. All right, guys, we're at 124. Am we good?
Yeah,
I think so.
All right, cool. This was fun. Sexual.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I like
hell
bringing some spice.
Yeah, it is a little flavor. All right, Biggie. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
That's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the Burgers with Eric podcast. You can find new episodes on Spotify on Monday and YouTube on Saturday, or wherever you get your